Welcome back, beautiful tri-state area. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. I'm your host, Zen Sams. Welcome back to the Better, Brighter You segment brought to you by Cyspera. From the stadium to the skincare clinic, Dr. Lian Mack is here to break it all down on winning against sun, sweat, and skin stress. Dr. Mack is a board-certified dermatologist and founder of GlamDerm, with locations in New York City and Scarsdale. She's widely recognized for her expertise in both medical and cosmetic dermatology, with a special focus on skin of color, hyperpigmentation, and advanced aesthetic treatments. She's also an educator, serving as assistant professor of clinical dermatology at Mount Sinai Medical Center, and a mentor to countless young women pursuing careers in medicine. Today, we're chatting how athletes' extreme environments reveal lessons that every New Yorker can use for healthier, brighter skin, with solutions that highlight the role of advanced treatments like Cyspera. We're going to break it all down. Dr. Mack, welcome to the show, superstar.
Hi, thank you, Zen. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited. So this athlete analogy is an analogy that feels close to a lot of New Yorkers, because New York athletes are no strangers to environmental extremes. The Yankees and Mets under blazing summer sun, the Giants and Jets battling freezing December winds. And in many ways, those same forces impact the skin of everyday New Yorkers who walk, commute, and live in these climates year round. So from a dermatology standpoint, what unique skin challenges do we New Yorkers and do New York athletes, most importantly, face compared to those in milder climates? And how do those challenges mirror what everyday New Yorkers deal with in their own routines?
We New Yorkers and New York athletes definitely face unique challenges in our environment, primarily because of seasonal variation. So we have these extremely cold, dry winters and these excruciatingly hot, dry, or humid rather, summers. And so during the winter months, athletes struggle with dry skin or xerosis, as well as chapped lips, windburn, and frostbite. People think that the UV index during the winter months is extremely low. And while that is true, skiers, for example, are at extremely high risk for UV exposure and or photo damage because of the reflection of the sun off of the ice and the snow. In the same way, during the summer months, the UV index shoots up and we are at risk for photo damage, and which increases ultimately our risk of skin cancer.
Yeah, that's such an important perspective, what you just said. I love that perspective. The analogy of the snow beaming off of, the sun and the rays, that's huge and it's impactful.
Yes. But also because we live in an urban environment, right? So there are tons of allergens and pollutants. People are at a higher risk for, let's say, contact allergens, as well as flares in eczema. Right. So let's not forget that we live in a city and there are tons of allergens and pollutants in our environment that we come into contact with day to day.
Oh, yeah. So much toxicity. And you're right. And that perspective reminds us that skin stress isn't just about age or beauty, but really about the environments we push through every single day. So thank you for that reminder. Mm-hmm. Now let's chat skin as the defensive line. All right. We're gonna chat football here. So in football, the defensive line protects the quarterback. It's literally the first shield. Our skin plays the same role for our body, protecting us against those pollutants that you talked about, that bacteria, those UV rays, and so much more. But just like in sports, when that defense weakens, performance suffers. So how does our skin serve as the body's first line of defense? And what are the key factors that can compromise that barrier?
Our epidermis, which is the outermost layer of the skin, serves to protect our skin from physical trauma like scratches or abrasions. But in addition, it also acts as a chemical barrier. So through our sweat, we're able to release antimicrobial properties that protect us against bacteria and other organisms. In addition, our skin has an immune defense, right? So we're able to protect ourselves from viruses and bacteria in the environment. And some people don't really understand that our skin helps to prevent dehydration. Our skin barrier is a very important part of the skin that helps us to hold onto moisture, preventing us from becoming dehydrated. And lastly, our skin, the melanin in our skin, so the darker your skin type, the more your skin protects you against UV radiation and the oxidative stress that comes along with photo damage.
Yeah. And now let's chat sun and hyperpigmentation. So hyperpigmentation is one of the top concerns in dermatology, and
Right.
athletes face constant triggers, sun exposure, friction from gear, even skin injuries. So for patients of color, these effects can be especially stubborn and very frustrating. So what role do sun, friction, and injury play in the development of hyperpigmentation, and where do clinically proven options like Cyspera fit into prevention and treatment strategies?
I mean, we know that sun exposure is the number one driving force in melanin production from our melanocytes. So, if you're having tons of sun exposure, you're putting yourself at higher risk for things like melasma, post inflammatory hyperpigmentation, and age spots. So, you want to minimize sun exposure, but friction, for example, I had a patient who was wearing a very tight hat on a very sunny day, and that hat kept rubbing on her forehead. She ended up getting these massive hyperpigmented patches because the hat just didn't fit her head. And then lastly, if your skin is injured, like let's say you're constantly getting nicks and cuts, it creates an environment of inflammation. And so part of the skin's natural healing process is to produce melanin. And so with injury, you have increased melanin production and thus hyperpigmentation. There are a number of things that we can do, but Cyspera is definitely one of my first line treatments. I love the fact that you're able to apply it to a very broad area without essentially bleaching the skin. It contains a molecule called cysteamine that is an antioxidant that basically helps to digest pigment or melanin in the skin and also reduce pigment production. In addition to Cyspera, we do offer a number of chemical peels and laser treatments.
Wow. I love that because hyperpigmentation affects so many people, and it's empowering to know that there are safe evidence-based options that actually work. And it's just a lot of people don't know how to treat that, so or don't know where to go to get treated. So thank you for at least providing that portal of a wealth of information, which is very empowering. Now let's chat designing a skin training program. So athletes and people who exercise a lot follow rigorous training regimens to perform at their best. And I imagine our skin would benefit from that same kind of disciplined, structured care, something more intentional than just a random collection of products, so to say. So, if you were designing a simple skin training program for New Yorkers, what daily habits and treatments would be essential for keeping skin brighter, stronger, and more resilient?
As a native New Yorker, I'm always in a rush. So for New Yorkers, I think that creating a regimen that is simple is best. You do not need a 12-step skincare routine. You just need the right products. So for example, if you're suffering from hyperpigmentation, you could use a product like Cyspera before starting your actual skincare regimen. So Cyspera, for example, is applied to dirty skin in the morning. I prefer
Mm,
to do it in the morning. And so
dirty.
dirty. So you need a little bit of oil. The studies showed that if it was applied to clean skin, it was more irritating. So when I apply it to my melasma on my upper lip, I'm waking up, not washing my face, applying it, and then getting ready for my day. So very simply, after I use my Cyspera, and for New Yorkers, other New Yorkers, I would recommend a very simple skincare routine. When I think about skincare, I simply think during the day you protect, at night you repair. So during the day, you want to protect with something that's an antioxidant like vitamin C and an SPF 30 or higher. At night, to repair, you want to use a retinoid or a vitamin A derivative coupled with a moisturizer.
Now let's talk about myths and superstitions. So just like athletes have quirky superstitions, lucky socks, pregame rituals, the world of skincare is full of myths, shortcuts, and even unsafe practices. Some people still rely on unregulated creams or quick fixes that can actually make pigmentation worse and even skin irritations worse. So what are some of the most common skincare superstitions or misconceptions you see, and how do you redirect patients towards safe, effective solutions backed by science?
Patients come into my office all the time and they say, well, I ask them during a skin cancer screening, do you apply sunscreen daily? Well, I don't leave the house. I work from home. That is the number one thing that I'm hearing from days, especially after the pandemic. That is a misconception. Most people are either working close to a window, or they needed to drive to the Scarsdale location or take the subway and walk outside to get to the Manhattan location. So you're still getting some degree of sun exposure, even though it may be a short period of time. Also, we know that glass, like glass through a window or glass in a car, blocks UVB, not UVA. So you're still getting UV radiation. So that's myth number one. I don't need sunscreen if it's cloudy out, right? So that's a total misconception. Even though it's cloudy out, you're still getting a significant amount of UVB, which can cause burning. We know that UVA causes aging. Another misconception that I see is sweat-proof or waterproof sunscreens don't need to be reapplied. That is not true. All sunscreens do wear off with time and should be reapplied every 2 hours. And lastly, vitamin D. Patients come in all the time and say, I get sun exposure because my vitamin D is low. We are all vitamin D deficient in the Northeast, and I recommend not getting sun exposure, but actually taking a vitamin D supplement.
Right. Simple, effective, and to the point. Just like New Yorkers.
Just like New Yorkers.
All right. Well, Dr. Mack, thank you for sharing these incredible insights. I mean, from stadium sidelines to city sidewalks, I know our skin is working overtime, and hearing your strategies for keeping it strong and bright was truly inspiring and very informative.
Thank you, Zen. Thank you for having me.
Thanks again to our sponsor, Cyspera, for reminding us that brighter, healthier skin is within reach with science that actually supports real results. If you'd like to learn more, you could visit Cyspera.com and definitely follow the amazing Dr. Mack at GlamDerm. And you can check out GlamDerm.com directly on their website. You can get tons of information about both their locations, because when your skin is stronger, brighter, and healthier, you truly are your better, brighter you. You're listening to A Moment of Zen right here on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, iHeartRadio. We'll be right back after this.
A Moment of Zen is brought to you by Cyspera. If skin discoloration is making it hard to find your Zen, Cyspera can help. Stubborn pigmentation, dark spots, and uneven skin tone concerns go beyond the surface, affecting both confidence and self-expression. In a sea of skincare choices, Cyspera stands apart. Backed by science and trusted by dermatologists worldwide, Cyspera is powered by the advanced cysteamine isobonic amide complex, delivering clinically proven results and effectively targeting mild to persistent discoloration while restoring the skin's natural glow. Unlike harsh treatments, Cyspera is formulated for all skin types, including sensitive areas, ensuring visible improvements without irritation. Whether pigmentation is a new concern or a long-standing struggle, Cyspera works in harmony with the skin to bring balance, clarity, and renewed confidence. Cyspera is science-driven skincare for confidence that shines. Find your skin zen and restore your glow with Cyspera today by heading to Cyspera.com.